Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast, we have your NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day recap. The Wednesday Night Wars looks like Undisputed Era is over. Moxley and Kenny Omega are going to have an exploding barbed wire match. I think I got that right. We also have your Elimination Chamber predictions. That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast. Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Mark. So welcome to the Banned from Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. Heel and Keller. And out there in Edwardsville, Illinois, we have Two Beer Zach Pullman. What's going on, Two Beer Zach?
That was in such bad taste. No, kidding. No, I mean, not too much. Just hanging out here, feeling kind of empty inside, just wishing that Dakota and Raquel would fill up my hole.
So just a normal Thursday for Zach then. And to my left, as always, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on with JCB?
Why do I have to follow this fool every week?
That whole thing's going to follow her around for the rest of her
life. No shit.
Yeah, rest of her life.
So on that note, allow us to bow our heads as I read from the latest edition of the Banned from Ringside podcast, volume 193, chapter 3, verse 14 of the Good Smart saith, hashtag boo the heels. It is all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat. Interesting week of wrestling. Had a little pregnancy, had a little seizure. Interesting week.
I totally forgot about the pregnancy.
I did not forget about that. I'm like, what in the shit is this?
We are coming at you from freezing cold South City, St. Louis. Mm-hmm. It is cold up in here. It's cold out there in Edwardsville. It's fucking cold. It's not even as cold as it has been. I mean,
this 30 is balmy in comparison to the -1.
The other day, it was -1, and it said the real feel, which wasn't really a phrase until recently, but it said the real feel was -17.
Yeah, it was cold.
And Aaron's like, go warm up my car.
Girl.
Real quick story on that AKA. That's not what Vice gave me, but I had a dream about Vice sending that to me last night about the Heel and Keller thing.
That's the one you need to work with.
He sent me a couple more today, but I'll use them in the near future. Before we get too far into it, we got a bunch of stuff to get to, obviously. Before we get too far into it, Jason, tell us about F&B Eatery.
F&B Eatery on the corner of 3453 Southampton and Marquette, home of the Smashburger you never heard of. So let's make that thing happen, Captain. Slide on in, grab your smash burger. Still not open for inside dining yet, but that's okay. That's why you have curbside service. You can take the kids, especially on days like we had here recently where you might be stuck at home. Mom, dad doesn't want to cook. Well, I got a solution for you. Grab on the keys, go on down to F&B Eatery, tell them that Banned from Ringside sent you.
And I'm also going to tell you about Bill's Beard Company, which is a company that my wife started. Company, it's a product. If you ever watch Shark Tank, you see Mr. Wonderful say, that's not a company, that's a product. But my wife does have products for sale, which are beard oils, beard shampoos, beard balms, shower bombs. She makes sprays for your lady. She will make all sorts of shit. I spent all weekend driving around St. Louis delivering this shit, and people are loving it. She is going to start selling them at stores. It's the real deal, guys. Like, it's good enough. So if you want beard oil, beard balm, beard shampoo, misty sprays for your lady, or if you are a lady, misty sprays for you, or some like shower bombs, bath bombs, shit like that, get a hold of me at BFR Bill or at BFR Pod, or bother at BFR JCB or at BFR Zach or at BFR Lucha Chris with that shit. And without further ado, let's get to that 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
JCB, kick us off.
Bothering me with that. What the hell is going on? We need to be like Vince, Damn that. Any requests of Bill's beard oil goes straight to Bill.
Nope. Send it to Jason. Actually, send it to Jason.
Right?
Send it to Jason. Aaron loves him. Aaron actually loves him. So if he texts her, this is the order. It'll be fine.
Blow my shit up with that for real. Let's go back to Sunday nights. NXT TakeOver coming back with a vengeance. Probably one of the better takeovers that have come down the pike in a while. We've had 5 good matches here. For me, the biggest takeaway was, of course, the end where we had Finn Balor retaining the title over Pete Dunne. If it wasn't for Kushida and Johnny Gargano on this card, it would probably been my match of the night. Unfortunately, for these two, that was on the card, and that was a banger, but we'll touch on that in a little bit. Like I said, to me, the match was really good, but then on the back end where you had the seeds planted for the Adam Cole heel turn, if it wasn't then you can definitely say on Wednesday they definitely reinforced it or made it grow, however you want to call it. But a nice little kick to Finn Balor's face, a nice little kick to Kyle O'Reilly's face, and you had yourself a nice little angle moving forward. From there, like I said, Kushida coming up real close, but falling to Johnny Gargano. A bit of surprise there. I thought that was the match of the night and possibly on the list of match of the year contenders. From there, you had the Dusty Cup winners on the men's and women's side. MSK and Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai win there. No problems either way. MSK is going to be on their way. I don't see how long they're going to be on NXT. It almost feels like they have no reason to be there at this point, to be perfectly honest. I just don't see them being there that long. They're just that good. I thought them and Grizzled Young Veterans had an amazing match. Am I missing one? I'm missing one.
EO
and Tony and Mercedes Martinez, which probably speaks volumes of what I thought about it. Not saying it was a bad match. It just kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit. EO retains.
It wasn't very long for Bill Vegas' special triple threat.
No, it wasn't.
And especially with the talent involved.
Which I think might have been by design. You let the other matches breathe around it, and especially you kind of felt like EO was going to go over. It just set up, obviously, Tony Storm, EO as a singles match. It was nice to see Mercedes Martinez in this match, but unfortunately she did what I thought was going to end up doing and eating the pinfall. Outside of that, just on a brief, synopsis of it, I thought this was the takeovers that we've been kind of looking for, kind of waiting for to come back, and they came back, gave us the angle at the end, and it was one of those where I was like, okay, don't look away, don't look away. You know how this shit works, and the next thing you know, it was like, bam, oh damn, here we go, and it made me interested enough to watch NXT first last night versus AEW. Usually, like I said, for me, I would just look at the cards and whatever interests me first, I just watch it. And it'd have been damn near impossible for me not to watch NXT on Wednesday last night. But just like I said, TakeOver is back. I thought it was an amazing fucking card. And like I said, I thought Gargano and Kushida stole the show in a 25-minute bar burner.
Two Beer, what's your biggest takeaway?
Really good wrestling show. Definitely feels good to have, it's like this felt like a takeover, even though going into it, it didn't really excite me too much outside of Kushida, Gargano, and Balor Dunne. I was just not over the top about anything. And I came away really happy overall, just having seen a good wrestling show. I had some weird psychology things that was kind of didn't detract from enjoyment, but that first women's match where most of the match was backwards as far as the faces getting heat on the heels, and then they got into that argument about the tag, and then most of the story of the match was keeping the right legal woman in the match, and then it was finished with a double pin. It just seemed kind of weird. But the right people won, and I'm totally fine with that. And they wrestled well, and Shotzi didn't kill herself, so that's good. And then with Kushida and Gargano, Dexter Lumis kidnaps Austin Theory, and like the whole story buildup of this match was that Johnny was afraid of the curse and afraid of Kushida. He wouldn't even let anybody say Kushida's name. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the go home show, he's like, "I'm Johnny Takeover. You got to take this title from me." And it went to being like, "I'm the best, and you got to beat me." And so you think that with them leveling the playing field and it being just Gargano out there and none of the other Gargano way group, because Dexter Lumis kidnapped Austin Theory, you're like, all right, level the playing field. Kushida gets to fight him one-on-one. Kushida's going to win. It's going to be, breakout star. Johnny doesn't need this belt to, like, be the star that he is. He doesn't need this belt to continue this gimmick. And then, like, after, like, running from him for, like, 6 weeks, Gargano just pins him in the middle of the ring clean, like, with no interference. And I'm just shaking my head because I just know that now we're going to get Dexter Lumis, Johnny Gargano for this belt, and that's where they're going. Because, I mean, I could have watched anybody with Kushida, and now I'm just like, where's this thing going? And the direction that it seems to be going is something I'm not happy about. Even though I'm a big Johnny Gargano fan, this was not a good decision, in my opinion. I don't know where Lumis is getting this push, but, I mean, the other matches were great. I think Wes Lee is a huge breakout star. MSK has been booked great, and even though there wasn't a second of the entire night that I thought that Pete Dunne was going to win that championship, that was still a really good match. So, and
is Wesley the black one or the white one? He's the black one?
He's the black one.
Whew.
Yeah.
God damn, those guys.
So
I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Good. Oh, and I said, and just like Jason, I didn't mention the women's match. And, as part of it was that table falling apart. The match kind of fell apart. Io went up and jumped off the lighting rig, which I wonder if that was even like planned, or if she was like, this table broke up. This looks like shit. I'm just gonna go do something crazy. I don't know. but yeah, like definitely underwhelming. I would have preferred just Toni Storm versus Io Shirai in a singles match anyway, or or in Mercedes Martinez, and then eventually Toni Storm. I don't know, but Io retains, and you're almost in the same position with Johnny. It's like, now who's she going to face? Like, she's beat everybody except Raquel, who like beat her like 3 months ago and, never got her shot. So I don't know. The psychology, the booking is still teetering for me, but the show was great and I love the wrestling.
I like how you found the black lining in the silver cloud. That Kushida. All right. This entire card, the triple threat was probably I won't say worst match, but it was the least memorable match on the card. It wasn't a bad match. It was kind of short. I would have liked to have seen those three women go 20 minutes. The tag team match at the beginning that opened it up, Raquel, I can tell the difference between Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai.
God hope so.
I can also tell the difference between Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart.
Look at you.
That match, I liked it more than both of you guys. And I understand that it was a little backwards, but maybe they were looking ahead to Wednesday night where Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez are the de facto baby faces against Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, but we'll get to that later. I'll echo what you guys said. The Kushida Johnny Gargano match was fucking tremendous. And it was a main event level match that I'm surprised. Kurt Stallion came into Shock City Studios and talked to us one time and talked about how him and Myron Reed got in trouble at that Ring of Honor show because they kind of did too much on the curtain jerker. And Bubba Ray Dudley, you know what? He didn't tell us on air who said it to him, but somebody got on Kurt Stallion about doing too much at the beginning of the show, and that's not a professional way to go. That Kushida Johnny Gargano match could have been the closer of a WrestleMania-style NXT TakeOver. That match fucking ruled. It was a Gargano-style match, which starts off slow, and it builds and builds and builds until it's pretty much the most exciting thing that you'll see, except for the finish of a New Japan Wrestle Kingdom style match or G1 style match for the championship. That match was tremendous. The Grizzly Young Veterans deserve a lot of credit. I know everybody's talking about MSK. Grizzly Young Veterans deserve a lot of credit for making MSK look like fucking stars, man. MSK did it on their own, obviously. And that match, that match, when I was watching that match, I was thinking, man, I wish Mauro Ranallo was here because he would have sold the fuck out of that match. That match was tremendous. I mean, a real NXT TakeOver style tag team match, which we have come to, we've done all the do-overs. We've done 20 on do-overs probably. We have come to expect greatness out of the men's tag, not to slight the women, but the men's tag team.
Well, men's is obvious. We've been around longer, but go ahead.
Been around longer. There's been a lot more matches. That match was incredible.
No, it was a straight up barn burner. There's no question about it.
Incredible. And WWE would be smart to kind of position MSK as their Lucha Brothers or their Young Bucks. These high-flying, very likable guys, very likable baby faces. We saw them on Wednesday night. They were really likable in the trophy presentation. They have tremendous presence, and you have to say that Impact dropped the ball on those guys because that is the best match they've ever been a part of, right?
As probably the guy that watches Impact the most, I'll start there. I don't think that they dropped the ball. I think that this was just the natural evolution of talent doing all that they could possibly have done on a brand and ready to move on. WWE, whether we like it or not, is still the end-all to be-all. It's the ultimate destination for talent to go. So when it was their time to leave, there being MSK's time to leave, they left. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, that's what they wanted to do, and that was the goal. Then they achieved the goal. That said, my bigger concern is what happens to them when they leave NXT. It's not like the main roster has been a bastion of tag team excellence. It almost feels like it's there because Vince has to have it there. It's just out of habit, I guess, for lack of a better term. From that point, I just worry about whether or not they're getting a fair shake, whether they will get a fair shake moving forward, especially on the main roster. Obviously, on NXT, they're being made to look like superstars, in which they are. But I would push back against on saying that Impact dropped the ball. I just think this was just one of those times where, hey, we've done all we could here, and it's just time for us to kind of move on. There's no hard feelings.
Okay, you're an Impact apologist. Those guys were great, though. I mean, I knew that Kushida and Johnny Gargano were great. I know that MSK was fun. But for them to rip out a 24-minute match, and Grizzly Young Veterans deserve all the credit they can get because they were there to fucking sell. And MSK got in most of the offense. I mean, Grizzly Young Veterans got their shit in. That move that MSK does where the white guy does the standing shooting star and Wes Lee pushes him and he goes over it. Has anybody ever done that before?
Not to my knowledge.
I mean, that's innovation. Yeah. I mean, to do a move in 2021 that nobody's ever done before, and to do it as perfectly as they did it.
Yeah.
I mean, I rewound it and watched it 4 times. That was fucking great. We got to get to probably the main thing, the main news story coming out of it. Pete Dunne versus Finn Balor was everything that you expected it to be. It was fucking great. I know this isn't. This is probably just a little speed bump for Pete Dunne. They will start to build him again. He got the win Wednesday night. He needs to start getting wins. But that being said, the big story coming out of it is Adam Cole turns on Kyle O'Reilly. Zach, your thoughts on the ending angle?
Yeah, I mean, I was excited to see it because, it's time for something. It's time for a shakeup for the Undisputed Era. They've been in like a holding pattern really since at least War Games, maybe even a little bit before that, where, kind of teasing like, some face stuff, and they've been faces lately, but where they've always just kind of been that really cool heel faction that gets cheered because they're really cool, a la NWO, a la Bullet Club, the best heel factions. But, we'll see like where it goes, but I was just happy to have something. The only thing that I don't want to say sucks because Adam Cole is one of the greatest. The guy absolutely rules. This does like thrust him back into the title picture, which is great. You know, you'll get like another pay-per-view, a great pay-per-view match. At the same time, Undisputed Era is not going to do anything on the main roster. But it's just hard when you have all these guys. I mean, look at all the talent that NXT has signed just lately, besides all the talent that they already had. And we have the same guys kind of at the top all the time. And even guys like Pete Dunne, who's been great for like all the years that he's been there. He was great when he got there, and he's even better now. Like, Pete Dunne really going to be a top guy? You know, I don't know. And it's still not even his time. And these guys, you know, that are going to be sticking around NXT for a while because they can't go to the main roster because Vince and creative don't have anything for them. So they'd be stuck in catering with Aleister Black. It just kind of, you know, it kind of sucks, and it's kind of less exciting, less dynamic. But at least, like, we got a new story. This breakup, definitely something needed to happen with these guys. So they won't sell as many T-shirts, unfortunately, but we'll see what happens.
Jason?
I'm sure I said it on here before where I like the fact that Kyle O'Reilly was being pushed towards the forefront where Adam Cole was kind of in the background or whatever the case may be. But I knew, and you kind of know, in the heel factions, they always implode, and they usually implode for jealousy or something like that. You know, the top guy is getting pissed off because he's not the top guy anymore. We still haven't found out the reason why, but I was kind of waiting for something like this to happen. Did I think it was going to happen here? No, I was almost waiting for Finn to, quote-unquote, join the Undisputed Era, and then you had its own little storyline go from there. So was I caught off guard? Yes. Is that a good thing? Always. So moving forward, I'm kind of looking forward to where does this go, because obviously you can do Cole versus Balor again. Probably you'll get Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole first. Karrion Kross is still kind of hiding in the mix, so to speak. So, I mean, the top of the card is fine. I don't think you have Pete Dunne is going to be in that mix, too. Obviously, he got the win on Wednesday. So, I mean, between those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys, I think you got the top of the card right there, and you can kind of work off that. So, I'm not too worried about that. But just on Sunday alone, I thought it was a nice swerve. I wouldn't even say it was about time. It felt about long enough where it was about time where I shouldn't even say that. But it felt like it was close enough to where Adam Cole was getting ready to turn heel again and start going back after the NXT title.
Yeah, obviously it's fucking great. Adam Cole probably could be a great babyface one day. I don't like him as much as a babyface. I like him a whole lot as a heel. I like Kyle O'Reilly as a babyface, if only because Kyle O'Reilly is not quite the promo that Adam Cole is, and
Cole is like the modern Shawn Michaels in so many ways. Like,
yes,
it's almost like completely analogous. Like, yeah, he's a good baby face, but he's so much better as a heel.
Mm-hmm. And it was time. Like you said, they told the story the right way. I'm excited to see where they go into...
Where does Roddy go?
WrestleMania season. Where does Roddy go? Who do you think faces Finn Balor at WrestleMania, Jason?
Couple months away. I'm gonna still go with Karrion Kross. After Santos Escobar next week, there's not going to be too many more options to go. I think you'll get a match in between, at least a title match for Balor before Karrion Kross. So I'll stick to it. Karrion Kross seems like the end game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Adam Cole, but if you make me choose, I'm going to take Karrion Kross.
Zach?
Yeah, those are probably the top two options. As far as safe bets go, Cole and Karrion Kross. Unfortunately, there is no WrestleMania TakeOver this year. It's going to be different. Like they're off of that schedule. Like they're not doing it. It's kind of a bummer.
It's 2 nights of WrestleMania. I have to assume that Finn Balor is going to be on WrestleMania. If it's 2 nights of WrestleMania, you don't think they're going to have Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross or Finn Balor versus Adam Cole Or Finn Balor versus Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly in a triple threat.
I think all those guys are too short and too young.
Life is
you got to be over
short.
40 and over 6 feet.
He's heating up.
I don't think they did this last year. I'm leaning towards Tubier on this one. Maybe they will do their own takeover in April, a week before or after. But if I'm thinking about it, last year they did not do a takeover WrestleMania weekend because it was the 2 days.
I do want to say that this takeover was an A. It was tremendous from front to back. The tag team match was incredible. Kushida Gargano. Gargano can have a great match with the broomstick, obviously.
Yeah.
But that match was 5 stars, in my opinion.
It would be
4.75.
Yeah, it would be hard not to say it's not at least 4.5. I mean, that joke was no joke.
Pete Dunne versus Finn Balor was the kind of match that we would have fancy booked right after the Pete Dunne Tyler Bate match, and it lived up to what I wanted it to be. So I loved this. I loved this pay-per-view. It was great. Any final thoughts, Zach, Jason?
That was a great question for a dinosaur.
I'll give it an A also. I'll say that.
No, it's hard not to. I mean, you had a match of the year candidate on here, bookend by MSK, Grizzly Young Veterans, Pete Dunne, and Finn Balor. The women were good. It was hard, and like I said, the triple threat match just kind of goes underneath the radar because everything else was so fucking amazingly good. This is a fucking show, no doubt about it. It was good to have a takeover back. Let's see if they can keep this momentum going moving forward.
Oh, one more thing. Do you think they keep bringing up Walter because Walter might be coming back? Is Finn Balor Walter at WrestleMania? No,
Dude, that would be bonkers.
They were supposed to do this last year before the world changed.
Right. It was going to be Finn Balor versus Walter for the UK
title.
Right.
I'll just say this. If they're doing that, then Walter's not coming back with the UK title anytime soon. But you can't have him lose the title to anybody that's on NXT UK. I don't even watch it anymore, but there's nobody that jumps off the top of my head that'd be like, oh, if fill in the blank beat Walter, then fill in the blank would be that next star. There's nobody I can think of that's like that. Or they're already a big enough star that they don't need that rub. Would I like it? Hell yeah. Shit. I mean, just the possibilities alone, but I don't know if they'll do it. I'll just go that far.
All right, let's get to that 2 count.
1, 2, 3.
2 beer. What's the 2 count?
2 count, we got Wednesday Night Wars. So this is the show after TakeOver and just a regular Dynamite. And what's funny is this is not like my biases. One of these shows was banger almost from start to finish, just like almost like pay-per-view quality matches. And then the other show was just kind of there. And it was following a pay-per-view. So Bill talk more about the NXT side. But for AEW, I started out with Hardy and Hangman Page, and we find out what those papers were that Matt Hardy signed, that Adam Page switched out. So essentially it was a contract for a match at Revolution, and we're going to have a big money match. So the winner gets the first quarter earnings from his opponent. Then there was a beatdown afterwards where Matt Hardy paid TH2 $3,700 to beat up Hangman Page, and Dark Order comes out for the save. So we have the continuation, the slow burn of the Hangman Page Dark Order saga, which is still interesting, which is still entertaining, and is not getting stale, even though they're not paying it off. They're dragging us along. It's a long-term story. And, we'll see what happens with Hangman Page and Matt Hardy. But at least we found out what those papers were. So we did get that payoff immediately, and we're not
kind of left in the lurch there.
Jason,
But anyways,
what'd you think about that angle?
Well, last week when I said that, when I watched it initially, I thought that Adam Page signed. I'm like, God damn, you drunk motherfucker. You ain't got the decency to read the contract. I didn't even see that he switched papers until somebody, told me, on Twitter, you didn't see that shit. And then, this week I'm looking at it, I'm like, damn, you hot motherfucker, you didn't see that shit. So in that scenario, it's kudos to the writing because, Hangman is, not the drunk guy that some of us perceive him to be. He's smarter than what we think, smarter than Matt Hardy. So to watch Matt Hardy to fall into that trap was cool. The Dark Order thing, I'm okay with that because A, they made the save, B, it makes sense. But C, we're starting to get to the point where I don't say we need to have something to happen, but I wouldn't mind seeing a move one way or the other. It's kind of like we're playing with, Adam Page, what we're going to do next with him. And I get that because, right now, Omega and Moxley is the story. There's no question about that. They got to finish their feud before we can get Adam Page in there. I'm not saying he should join the Dark Order, but this flirtation with the Dark Order is starting to get a little long-winded. I'm not going to say that it's old, but it's kind of gone away. Now it's come back. It's gone away. Now it's come back. The match was fine. I thought everything after the match was the setup for what's to come.
Can I say why this segment didn't work with me? It didn't work with me. I know that everybody on Twitter acts like I'm the stick in the mud, but I'm going to be a stick in the mud here. Sorry.
Off my lawn.
But Matt Hardy and Adam Page were standing in the middle of the ring, and Adam Page called the Jacksonville Jaguar mascot to come out with the contract, right?
Right.
And it was the contract that Adam Page had that said it's going to be for money, which I don't. Angles about money just don't get me going because it's just all fake money.
Well, in kayfabe style.
Kayfabe style.
It's old school kayfabe stuff. You're right.
Okay.
And you're also right about the criticism about Isaiah Cassidy being in the Jaguar thing because that doesn't line up logically at all.
No, it doesn't line up logically at all. It's because that means that Matt Hardy had to know that Adam Page was going to do this, but then he still acted surprised. It's just, it's a little stuff like that. That being said, I look forward to a Matt Hardy-Adam Page match. I hope that Adam Page doesn't almost kill Matt Hardy the way that Sammy Guevara almost killed Hardy, but yeah, that segment was fine.
It was fine. It continues their storyline, but obviously the bigger story is, what is Adam Page going to do with the Dark Order? Is he going to join or not?
Yep. Then we had an absolute banger of a women's match.
I'm sorry. This nigga is over here rolling his eyes. Okay, man, just say it. You don't like the Dark Order. Just get it off your chest. It'll make you feel better. Just get it off your chest. I can't have you over here.
The lollipop guild. The lollipop guild.
You gonna tell -1 to his face that the Dark Order sucks?
Oh, see,
no, I'm not gonna tell -1 to his face that the Dark Order sucks. But I will say to you guys, because -1's not here, that I think having a little kid out there is also kind of weird. It's like if you're trying to get viewers, people are going to turn that on and be like, "Oh, I want to watch wrestling," and then they see a little kid with a shirt off wearing a mask, and it's like, that doesn't make any sense either. Like, it turns me off because it seems, I know it's not exploitative. It seems exploitative. If I didn't,
well, I'm glad it doesn't turn you on.
If I didn't know what was going on and I turned it on, if I turned on the product, I would be like, why is this little kid out here? This is dumb. I think the Dark Order is dumb. I think you can go back to my shit long time ago, and I said putting Brody Lee with the Dark Order sucked. Jason and I got in a conversation with some guys outside of Jack Patrick's, not a sponsor, and we were talking about how the Dark Order sucked a long time ago. I'm just not into the Dark Order, but sorry.
No, just for the record, consistently been an apologist about the Dark Order, no question about it. So for the record,
I know you and I were against each other on that patio at that bar that night a year and a half ago.
Damn shame, but true story. Go ahead, Tubier. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So then we had an absolute banger of a women's match with Serena Deeb and Riho. So this is Riho's first match in like 11 months on AEW TV. Obviously, she's been in Japan wrestling, but these ladies absolutely killed it. It was just a great technical wrestling match, like nothing super fancy, nothing flashy, just two talented wrestlers going in there, giving it their all. I love this match. Riho goes over. No huge surprise because she's a former champion. Definitely they're high on Riho, and she's going to go towards the end of this tournament, I think, because she's just now coming back. But, I mean, did you guys like this match as much as I did? I loved it.
I thought it was great. I thought they worked really well together. I think Serena Deeb is at the top of her game. I like that they gave her a little bit of an out with the injury where Riho went over. And I thought it was really well booked. I thought it was really well worked. And I think that this tournament is actually, hopefully, it turns around AEW's reputation as having a, less than great women's division.
You being nice.
Well, and if you watch the YouTube, the 1 hour special, I love those matches too. Excalibur did an awesome job. Mm-hmm. There's 4 matches. You get to see some of the ladies that we would have been seeing this entire time. And that's the thing that a lot of people forget. I've mentioned this before. Like, their women's division would have been better if not for the pandemic. A lot of the talent they were planning on utilizing to bolster the division is stuck in Asia. It is what it is. It's a big bummer. So now we're going to start integrating those, and that's cool. And I think this women's tournament, when I saw the brackets, I was high on it. And so far, it is delivering really well. I mean, it's better than the Dusty Women's Classic for sure. So,
see, I don't know why he had to do that. Like, why does he do that? Like,
because he's a mark.
He always says it's not about his. He says it's not about his biases. He always brackets it with it's not about my biases, but then he ends it with shit like that.
They're on the same time slot. I'm not the one that made the executive decision to pit them at the exact same time on the exact same day of the week. Like, they're the one that set up this dichotomy. I'm just pointing it out.
Sure.
And nobody would argue that NXT's women's division is better than AEW's. It is. So, like, overall, it absolutely is. No question about it. But, yeah, that's it. I'm just saying, like, this tournament is good. That one, not so much.
Jason, good.
You mark. First and foremost, just touching on the Japanese side of the bracket. I love the fact that Excalibur did the play-by-play solo dolo. That's an amazing fucking job. It just kind of reinforces that he's one of the up-and-coming play-by-play guys that we have in this business. It was fucking amazing. Like I said, just for him to do it solo is enough said. I like the talent over there. If this was a marriage of the AEW women's division, then you have something to work with. But I still have a problem with the utilization of women that they currently have over there that they have and they're not using for whatever reason. Another story for another time. The match itself, Serena Deeb and Riho coming back is kind of what I've been saying about WWE. The more talent you have, the more depth you have, then you can have better matches. This is just a classic case of having the depth to have a better match. Serena Deeb's injury, I thought, was going to come into play a little bit more. I thought maybe you might see a little heelish Riho, but you didn't see it. All in all, this was a really good match, and this is the match that I was kind of hoping to see when AEW started. Unfortunately, with Serena Deeb, with Thunder Rosa, you're having outside talent being the star of the show, but now they have this partnership. It's not so bad anymore. The match itself was good. Like I said, I kind of wish they would do multiple tournament matches, a second tournament match ain't gonna kill nobody. I mean, goddamn, you did 4 in 1 hour. You couldn't throw a second one in here in some form or fashion, but that's neither here nor there. I think Thunder Rosa and Riho next week is gonna be a banger ass match. The winner there might actually win this tournament, even though Britt Baker's at the bottom, kind of hiding out a little bit. We'll see what happens down there, but I would not be surprised if the winner of the Riho Thunder Rosa match actually goes on and wins the actual tournament itself.
What happened next, Zach?
Yeah. So real quick rundown for those. So Rio Thunder Rosa. And on the other side, we had Yuka Sakazaki, who was last on, I think, Double or Nothing. She's on a couple of AEW shows. She's a big talent. I like her a lot. She went over Mei Seiruga, who is a protege of Emi Sakura, and who won the next match against Vinny, who is known as Asuka over there, who's also a transgender wrestler. And so there's 2 transgender women in this bracket, one on the American side, one on the Japanese side. So next is going to be Yuka Sakazaki versus Emi Sakura. And if you like Emi Sakura, or if you like women's wrestling, you can check. She started Ice Ribbon, which a lot of their stuff's on YouTube. I watch that a lot on YouTube. She's a really talented trainer. Anyway, Ryo Mizunami, who again was previously on AEW, went over Maki Ito, who's like my Japanese spirit animal. Like if I was Japanese, I probably would be a Japanese pop star schoolgirl who with a very filthy mouth, who posts on Twitter a lot. So that's probably why I like her so much. And then the Queen, Aja Kong, went over Rin Katakura. So we have Aja Kong versus Ryo Mizunami and Yuka Sakazaki versus Emi Sakura. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Aja Kong rules. Anyway, what happened next on AEW? So Orange Cassidy defeated Dr. Luther. This was a pretty fun match that I liked it because it wasn't a typical Cassidy match. Dr. Luther beating up on him and Cassidy getting out of it. So just a little showcase for them. Chuck Taylor killed Serpentico with that, what does he call it? The blue waffle or whatever?
Yeah,
I don't know.
whatever
awful
it was,
waffle,
yeah.
awful waffle. Just murdered him. But then I think this is probably going to be Bill's favorite part of Dynamite. Sting calls out Team Taz, and Team Taz comes out there short a couple people just because of the snow.
Thought you knew me better than this.
Sting comes out in the snow, which I gotta say, man, even as like a Sting mark, like that entrance is super cool. Like to see Sting coming out with the snow, like
even
cool,
as
man.
a Sting mark, you admit that's super cool, huh?
I meant to say it the other way around. Like full disclosure, Sting mark, that entrance is really cool.
Right.
But so anyway, he comes out and Taz is, giving him shit because he has the bat. He's like, oh, you always got that equalizer. So he tosses the bat and he essentially like balls up his jacket, throws it in Brian Cage's face and starts like wreaking havoc like he used to do against the NWO. Like there's only 3 of those guys. He used to beat off 20 dudes at once. I mean, it was like a regular Sasha Grey. So
you ain't shit.
So anyway, but then he ends up turning around. Brian Cage comes out of the corner, demolishes him, and gives him the hardest power bomb you can possibly give a person. 62 years old. I'm just like, oh my god.
Okay, so I gotta
awesome.
ask you, Zach.
Yeah.
When Brian Cage delivered that power bomb to Sting, did you mark out? Did you cringe? Were you worried? What was your first reaction to that? Because I was watching it live, and I know what my first reaction was too.
It was like all of the above, like for sure. Like I was like, whoa! I was like, because for a second I thought Darby, or as Taz calls him, Dobby, was going to come out and save him. Like Sting would go up on his shoulders and he would like cut him out, with a skateboard or something. But they just slammed him. I was like, oh man. But I thought it was cool because like my favorite wrestler as a kid still taking bumps, 62 years old. So I don't know. You think the cinematic match is there because, we're going to protect Sting. We're not going to, he's not going to take bumps. Like, and then he's like coming out and he's like, yeah, we're doing a street fight. And then, like a couple weeks beforehand, like I'm just going to take a wicked power bomb. I don't know. I liked it.
Jason, what was your thought? What were your thoughts, I should say?
It's about damn time. Honestly, that's the first thing I thought. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, there's usually 5 of you guys, and you got Brian Cage and Powerhouse Hobbs running around. I don't understand. I got into this debate on Twitter about, well, Sting has this bat, and, it's Sting, and it's Darby Allin. Man, fuck that. It's 5 of you motherfuckers. Somebody's going to have to take the fall to get this first couple of hits, but it's 5 of you guys. You guys aren't playing the usual heel number game. You out-muscle these motherfuckers, and now you outnumber these motherfuckers. The fact that Darby Allin was getting drug on the body bag was finally great. This was about damn time. The bump looked rough, okay? It wasn't necessary. It looked more rough than or stiff. It looked more stiff than Kyle O'Reilly, which we totally forgot about to talk about, by the way. It looked more stiff than Kyle O'Reilly. I didn't necessarily think that, Sting was hurt. I didn't think that Kyle O'Reilly was hurt. You know what I'm saying? They just both looked stiff enough where I was just like, oh, shit. It caught my attention. It was good to see Sting take this bump because now you kind of get that out the way where, okay, he can at least take a stiff-ass bump. I'm still not a fan of this whole angle myself. I'm ready for this shit to get over and done with, but I guess it answers a major question. Can Sting take a hard stiff bump?
No, that's not what it answers. Because now the question is, can he take another one without dying? Of course I liked it because I like watching wrestling, and wrestling is best when you don't know what's real and you don't know what's shoot, you don't know what's kayfabe, and it's exciting like that. That's why I watch pro wrestling. I also don't want to see anybody die, and I remember watching I think it was Night of Champions, Seth Rollins versus Sting match, where they had to cut it short after 4 minutes because Sting wasn't doing very well, and Sting's a 62-year-old man. My dad is 66. I can't imagine my dad take the bump like that.
He wouldn't have to. That's why you're there.
But my dad's in pretty good shape for an old man. At least in good shape as Sting, probably. And I don't know. I don't know why Sting's out there. Like, I know why Sting's out there because, marks like Zach get off on it. But I don't know how. Is it going to be a cinematic match?
No.
It's going to be a real match.
I think it's going to be a real match. What did you say, Two Beer?
I think they've already announced that it's going to be a cinematic match. Or at least it may not be like super cinematic, but a pre-recorded street fight. You know what I mean? Like,
it doesn't need to be in front of a live audience. Now,
yeah, not live.
What will be enough, Zach? What will be enough? Him dying on screen? What will be enough? Him dying on a pay-per-view?
I want Sting to go the way of Masawa. Yeah, that's it. No, like
actually, I kind of do now.
See, you ain't shit. You ain't shit.
I thought that's why you would like it so much because he looks so, But he's there to put over Darby and younger talent, and it shows that he's not afraid to look like shit.
I don't hate Sting though. I don't hate the person. And I don't want to see him.
You actually said fuck Steve Borden.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But that was supposed to be funny.
I was going to say, how quickly we forget.
I say all sorts of stuff, guys. This is our 193rd podcast. What the fuck? I say all sorts of stuff.
Well, never mind. I was going to make that political joke, but I'm going to leave that alone. Nah, fuck that. See, we hold you accountable around here, motherfucker.
I appreciate that.
We going to call your ass.
I don't want Steve Borden to die.
No, you would hope not.
I want him to take his makeup off.
But I expected him to run wild, and he didn't. Like, it was like kind of that scene. No, that's the thing. It was refreshing, right?
Yeah.
Like,
you got to put heat on the heels.
But let's put a tad bit of realism too. I know, Sting is fucking Two Beers, fucking God Almighty, like Naito is mine. But I mean, damn, he is 62.
I wouldn't say that. I would not say that Zach likes Sting as much as you like Naito.
I think it's more.
I don't.
Oh, I do.
Zach?
Whenever I was like 10.
Yeah.
But I mean, my
he's 36 years old.
shifted.
And you see how he is every week when he talks about Sting. It's like a kid in a candy store. God bless him.
I mean, it's not the way
That's
that I
true.
would talk about anybody.
But that's what I'm saying, though.
I also know that you're 47. You talk about Naito, who's 37, like in ways that are pretty strange.
Never mind. Never mind. I'm gonna go ahead and let's just put the dirt on this grave while we got it there. Go ahead, Two-Beer.
The real reason Jason's bald is because he has a Naito wig and it fits better. If he has his head shaved.
He's heating up.
Boy,
He's heating up.
you almost made me spit this beer on beer. I swear to God. I had every opportunity just.
Oh my God! Picturing Jason in a Naito wig with the bangs and shit. All right, what was next?
Oh man!
What was next?
So this was like match of the night. Match of the goddamn week, and almost like, even though we had a takeover, arguably match of the weekend. Even Kushida Gargano was outrageously good, but huge. This Young Bucks Proud and Powerful match, they come out, with the promo. We haven't had a title shot yet, which is bonkers, and they acknowledge that. It's only, there's a rubber match between them and the Young Bucks, back because they were wrestling before Young Bucks had the title. And these guys just went out there and tore the house down. It was incredibly creative. Unfortunately, Young Bucks went over. I actually, throughout this, was really hoping that Proud and Powerful would take this title, because you could still continue the same storylines, and they wouldn't necessarily have to have like a super long reign, but it would help cement them. Instead of just having this amazing match, they had an amazing match, and they went over the Young Bucks. I don't think it necessarily like hurts them or anything, but as Jason has pointed out, like, they're kind of in a holding pattern, especially because they're unfortunately playing second fiddle to MJF and Jericho right now. So if they would have won the titles, then there would have had to been an MJF and Jericho match.
That's exactly what I was rooting
Powerful.
for. Just, is it time to blow up the Inner Circle? Would you be mad if Santana Ortiz?
We're watching WWE Elimination Chamber,
watching.
so
There's
there is a
Chamber.
reason why he's saying this.
If it was Santana Ortiz versus MJF and Jericho, you wouldn't be mad about that. You'd love to see that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it would help the story come to fruition.
Has
but
Inner
it would
Circle
accelerate the story.
Let me ask you this, because whenever I think about old factions, I think about it when I was a younger man, when shit seemed like it lasted longer. But now that I'm an old man, I think Inner Circle for a year and a couple months, that's a pretty long run for a faction. Is it too early to break them up completely? Not completely, but to start the process of breaking them up. Jason.
You're a nerd.
No, wait, wrong one.
That was a great question for a dinosaur.
Motherfucker.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right. That's gonna be mine for probably the rest of 2021. No, I think we said it last week. Sammy is at least the first one to see what's going on. Chris is now kind of caught on. He said it this week where it's like, I watched last week, Dynamite, I saw what you did, blah, blah, blah. But Sammy is the one. He's the whistleblower. He said it last week. I told you the next time you fucked up, I'm done.
Big babyface move.
Okay. So at least in that scenario, we stuck to our word. It makes sense. And he did what he said he was going to do. That's it. If it would have been great if we'd have had fans there. That's what everybody says. But I don't want storylines to stop because we don't have fans there. This was the right time. He caught Jericho. He caught MJF red-handed. MJF's trying to play it off, Jericho smacked him back to reality and stopped him for the moment. So in that scenario, MJF is going to back off a little bit. But ultimately, we're going to have the golden prediction happen.
Two beers, Zach. Is it too early?
That's one thing that I don't think it's too early at all. But that's one thing that I liked about this was MJF pointed out, because people were like, this doesn't logically make sense. Why would Sammy be mad that he was recording him when there's a camera right there recording? And Sammy's just pissed because it's like one more thing that MJF has done. He's not mad because he thinks that he's going to use that evidence. It's just MJF being manipulative, and he was just done with it. And they pointed that out, like, and Jericho pointed out, like, you've done this, like, we know what you're trying to do. Yep. And, like, they're good at wrapping up those logical inconsistencies. I could see next week them being like, there was a reason Isaiah Cassidy was in that thing, because they kind of do those on the back end.
Right.
Instead of just letting them dangle. But I don't think it's too early at all. I mean, they're a great faction, but we got to keep storylines moving. Just same thing with the Undisputed Era. They're one of the greatest factions, in wrestling history, I would say. But they ruled the roost for a long time. But you gotta do new stuff.
No, and for Undisputed Era, it felt like it was, if it wasn't close to being time, that's why I wouldn't have mind necessarily seeing Finn Balor being a part of the Undisputed Era, because then you can tease tension between who's the leader. Is it Adam Cole? Is it Finn Balor? This is, Bullet Club, where obviously neither guy was in Bullet Club at the same time, but you can kind of play off of that. For the Inner Circle, this is kind of the same thing. I don't think it's necessarily the time where you break them up, but it's like a slow splintering of things that happen to where now maybe 6 months from now, maybe at the end of the year, you ultimately, I don't even think you break them up. I think that, especially with that promo where Jericho kind of called MJF out, and it wasn't like MJF was the bad guy, but hey motherfucker, I saw what you did. Don't think you're slick, so stop playing like that. And pretty much after, Jericho said that, MJF shut the fuck up. But then it came back to where ultimately Sammy Guevara is the person at fault. He left the Inner Circle, and now if you ain't with us, you're kind of against us. So at that point, it makes them back to being a nice little heel faction that they're supposed to be. Like, the only problem I have with the match is at the end, where God forbid you have this banger ass match, and you have Inner Circle come out, which they're supposed to do. I get it, but then you have MJF and Jericho tapping out the Bucks. Okay, so it's like, to me, that was the double whammy. Not only did you have Santana and Ortiz lose, which I said last week, I was feeling like they were getting fed to the Bucks, but then you have the team that ain't a team tapping these jokers out. I'm like, man, goddamn, why don't you just kick me in the fucking balls? Ultimately, I hope we're gonna get where I hope we're gonna be, is where MJF takes over the Inner Circle. But I mean, that's where I was just like, that pissed me off more than anything else. Well, I shouldn't say more than anything else. That really pissed me off, because it kind of made Santana Ortiz, that whole match, devalued, because as soon as MJF and Jericho got in, they put submissions on the Bucks, and you got guys tapping out. It's not because they were, tapping out of the submissions. They wrestled 20 minutes, and then the Vultures came in and got the scraps. For me, it was the double whammy. Not only did Santana Ortiz not win, but then Jericho and fucking MJF felt like they got the glory for tapping out the Bucks post-match.
We had FTR versus Sydals coming up next. Jason, what you think about that match?
Didn't know that Matt had a brother named Mike. This match was good. It was good to see FTR back on track, even without Tully, so it kind of gets the... they can't wrestle Tully Angle a little bit subdued for a little bit. Obviously, with Lucha Express coming back, Luchasaurus getting his new mask back, Jungle Boy just is going to be fucking amazing. He just stretched the shit out of Dak Harwood with that submission. Obviously,
he's only getting better.
Obviously, we're getting FTR Lucha Express Part 2. I'm ready for it. And like
Jurassic
you said, did I say Lucha Express? Jurassic Express.
Mine goes first.
Fuck you. No, I'm ready for that. And like you said, Jungle Boy is going to be, he's going to be that next big thing. Not this year, maybe in like 2023. he's going to be one of those star faces that's going to lead AEW forward.
Zach.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be a babyface champion after a long chase, and it'll probably be chasing MJF.
Yep, you stole my thunder. I was just going to say it'll be him and MJF for the title.
And then the main event was Eddie Kingston, the Butcher and the Blade versus Moxley, Lance Archer, and Phoenix. The biggest takeaway,
outrageous.
The biggest takeaway from this for me was Phoenix, who is at the top of his game, at the top of every game. It seems so. He is Rey Mysterio on steroids. He's Rey Mysterio in the future. I mean, how else would you describe him, Zach?
Best high flyer in the world. Maybe best high flyer of this era, and I mean, which is the most high flying era. So I mean, arguably best high flyer of all time currently, and he's still improving and getting better as long as he's not hurt. Like, he steals the show. Like, I have AEW on at work sometimes. And, if I have WWE, unless it's old stuff, people don't really care. But I'll throw AEW up there. And, like, I've had people that aren't even really into wrestling, and they just really enjoy these high spots, these matches. Like, that's what non-fans want to see. And Lucha Libre, in general, is, like, the most accessible of the wrestling styles for a non-fan. So, to see all these lucha spots. But, yeah, I mean, this, like, furthered some stories. Eddie Kingston had a ridiculously good promo, as he always did before this. He's like, Moxley, I can't get rid of you with booze, with pills, with women. He's like, I gotta get you. I'm just like, man, I'm like,
that's
thing,
deep.
like, yeah. And
at least you tried everything.
Just awesome. But now we furthered the storyline because, like Jason said earlier, the story is Moxley versus Omega, and Moxley like busted him open with that headbutt. And we actually didn't mention Omega's little vignette.
Yes,
dude. I was like, am I actually watching this? Because I got home last night from work. I'd had like 5 or 6 beers
with the little
and then
kids.
Like, and I cut this edible in half and I ate it, and I'm like, am I seeing this? Like, is this like really happening? I'm like, did I fall asleep on the couch? And am I like dreaming this? But I mean, man, like, that was a great segment. Like, this Kenny Omega over the top, acting like a superstar, doing the Nick Bockwinkel thing. It's great.
That's who it is. Thank you.
Pretty incredible.
Thank you.
Pretty incredible Kenny Omega stuff.
No, I felt bad for Nakazawa because, Nakazawa was trying to be like the nice guy. He's like, kids, I'll play with you. Uncle Kenny and Uncle Don's got to go. And they just worked his poor ass over. They left the title belt and everything. I was like, damn, the kid's that damn bad. That was, to me, the good part about the Kenny Omega portion of the program. I'll let you finish, and then I'll go from there.
Okay, go ahead, Bill. What do you think about the finishing angle and the?
I mean, you mean with the Kenny Omega naming the match and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you've ever YouTubed one of these type of matches, which is the barbed wire, exploding barbed wire match, I think Terry Funk.
And if you want to, just Google Onita, because Onita, he's the father of the death match. He's from FMW in Japan.
But
so,
there are ones with Terry Funk that you can find that are just
Terry Funk,
completely
Mick Foley,
brutal. Mick Foley, Terry Funk.
Yeah.
It's a brutal match, and while these guys probably could phone it in a little bit by virtue of their last gimmick match, which was I can't remember what the name of that match.
It was the non-sanctioned lights out match.
Yeah, it had the bed of nails and shit. These guys are not going to phone it in.
Okay.
I think that this is a way to write off Moxley, to write off Moxley off of TV for a while, because I know that he's going for
ready to have the baby.
He's going for a paternity leave and stuff. This is probably a way to write him off. I am looking forward to this match, but those gimmick matches aren't my favorite type of matches, if I'm being honest. I mean, my favorite types of matches are matches within the squared circle, Maybe a triple threat.
No, I feel you, and you know, it's one of these things. And we saw Ospreay just do it a few weeks ago, and Omega has to do it every now and then too. Omega and Ospreay are just different kinds of cats in the sense that they think that to be the best wrestler in the world, they have to be great at everything. And I mean, fortunately for them, they seem to be. I mean, like, you watch Will Ospreay get in the ring with Zack Sabre Jr., and he's the second best technical wrestler in the world. You know, it's crazy, but it's not even a thing that he normally does or like excels at. And it's just bonkers the level that these guys push themselves to, almost like, I mean, healthily, because, like, you know, like, there's guys that would push themselves unhealthily, but you know, it's just a different mindset. And I mean, I respect it. I don't, like you said, like, I don't necessarily agree with it. I don't need to see that. Will I watch it? Will I pay for it?
Of
Gladly.
course. Yes.
Yeah.
I
but
mean,
but
come
yeah,
on.
would I
I'm
rather
a mark.
see them? Yeah. Would I rather see them just in a match? Probably. You know, at the same time, you know, like, my son, he was laying in bed here with me the other night, and it was late and we should have been going to sleep, and he's like, Dad, can we watch Undertaker Mankind Buried Alive? And I was like, well, of course. Like, he knows how to stay up for an extra half an hour.
I mean, how can you say no to that?
Right.
Yeah.
You would be a poor father if you did.
Were you
Yeah.
were you like, hey, Dexter?
That was a great question for a dinosaur.
I open the door, get on the floor. Anyway, like, it just makes it. We've got a card. We've got these stories that are paying off. You know, it doesn't seem thrown together. Like, they're not just throwing, you know, something together to try to get $50 out of you. You know, I feel like they're actually trying to deliver good content. So I appreciate it.
Yes.
Hang on, man. Hang on.
Go ahead.
No, I'm not letting this shit slide. Okay, y'all motherfuckers are too damn nice.
Did I not ask you your opinion?
No, and I'm going to throw it anyway because I waited patiently.
Let's get to that 3 count.
No, damn it, no.
Let's get to that 3 count.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Okay? If this was WWE, once again, we would have a problem with this. We would have a huge problem with this.
Oh,
if
no.
you can put
Come on. No.
No.
It's not
You
an
guys
eye for an eye match or anything.
Yeah,
It's not
what are
basically
you
the
talking
same
about?
thing.
If it was exploding barbed wire match in WWE,
if this was Seth Rollins,
but the exploding barbed wire match in WWE would have just like Goldberg like spearing somebody into a wall and then having a bunch of sparks flying out from behind the wall and being like, "Oh, he broke the fucking generator," or some shit like that. Like, it wouldn't even be a real, you know, if they're going to do a exploding barbed wire match, Omega Moxley, and it's going to be an AEW, I trust them to do an actual match. It's
like a love letter to the Japanese death match. I feel like these guys both love those things.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
You know the difference. You know the difference.
No, I don't think there is.
Just take the L. Just take the L right now. Just say I'm wrong. Just say I'm wrong. Just say you're wrong.
No, if this was
there's a huge difference between a barbed wire, exploding barbed wire match. I'm 41 years old, and this is a podcast I'm hosting. You know there's a difference between an exploding barbed wire match in AEW and an exploding barbed wire match in WWE.
Considering I've never seen a death match, this is going to be my cherry being popped. Now, that said,
what?
No, this is not my bag. I don't watch death matches. I watch wrestling. Shit.
Do you have YouTube?
Of course I have YouTube.
It's an app. I think it comes with your phone.
It might be a little TV on your phone if you haven't updated it.
It's got like a
years.
play, or if you don't know what play is, it's like a triangle pointing to the right. If you don't know what a triangle is, it's like a square with one less side.
Why would I look for something that I don't have zero interest in? I just don't get it. Okay, therein lies the rub. I'm not saying it has no business in the storyline. I'm not saying that I don't get it. The way the storyline goes, Omega said it. Look, I can't get rid of you by just beating you by normal means, so now I got to go to the most extreme measure. I get that.
Yeah, but we have to start talking about WWE and AEW. Like, the context matters. In context, Omega Moxley on WWE is going to be a boring it's going to be a boring match. On AEW, as an exploding barbed wire match or whatever the fuck they call it, it's going to be exciting.
Okay, whatever the fuck you call it. I'll go like this. Will I give AEW the benefit of the doubt? Yes, I will. They've kind of earned it at that point. But if this, I'll say it for me. I'll just speak for me alone at this point, since I'm going to be on this island.
Don't speak for me.
No, since I'm going to be on this island, let a motherfucker be on this island. If this was WWE, I would take a huge dump on it. So if I'm going to do it on one side, I'm going to do it on the other.
No, but that's not the way that it works, though. Context has to matter. You're talking to Mr. AEW Mark over there in Zach
without
Coleman,
question. That's why.
And you're talking to the AEW skeptic. So why are you? You're not even splitting the difference. Like, you're making an enemy out of both of us in terms of this particular topic, and we're both against you. Like, what's your problem?
Well, no, it doesn't matter if you're against me or not. The fact that we're here at this point.
I'm against you.
Yeah, right. The fact that we're here at this point does it. I'm just not the death match guy. I get it. Okay? I agree with everything up to the step.
But you can disagree with it. You can disagree with it and not disagree with it from the angle of, man, if WWE did this, I would be just as mad.
Oh, I would totally be pissed. I would be pissed.
But WWE wouldn't do it right.
It doesn't. Look, I'm not worried about the physical match itself. The physical match itself is why it's not going to be that bad. For me, personally, look, like you said earlier, I might be the stick in the mud, but I don't want to see a death match. If we're going to throw a step, give me another one besides an exploding barbed wire death match where I got to go to YouTube with that thing with the ring and go look it up and find out what the fuck it is. If I'm going to be that dinosaur, I should have already seen it. And if I haven't seen it, that means I have no interest in it.
Brother, you ain't the stick.
I gotta say,
you're the mud.
Regardless of previous experience with that style of match, the top two Google searches that night are going to be AEW Revolution and how to clean cum off a ceiling.
Jesus Christ!
Fucking A. Let's go to the 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
All right, the 3 count is NXT Wednesday night. We've already talked about Kyle O'Reilly. We've already talked about the Undisputed Era, basically the end of the Undisputed Era. They had a great run. I think they had a 3.5-year run, something like that.
Sounds right.
Which is impressive for a faction in pro wrestling.
I was going to say, in our do-over, I don't think we've gotten to... We should be coming up to it if we haven't really gotten into... No,
what?
We have.
Undisputed Era?
Yeah.
It's like 2017 or
we
something.
We have. AOP Undisputed Era was the last match.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
So, let us just say that Undisputed Era, it's the end of the Undisputed Era, and God bless you, motherfuckers. That was a great run. They were...
Pat was right.
Let's get to that. We had Shotzi Blackheart versus Candice LeRae, or Shotzi and Ember versus Candice LeRae and Indy. Fine. It was a fine match.
No, I like Shotzi and Ember together. I like their chemistry. I think the bigger issue is that now we found Austin Theory, or whatever the case may be, dressed like God knows what. I thought that would be the finish of the match where it would go... You would bring Dexter Loomis back out, but you bring in the kidnapper van or whatever the case may be. I see you that security at the CWC is just as good as Full Sail. Not a huge fan of Dexter Loomis. I've already said that, and that goes unchanged at this point. I agree with Two Beer. It's going to be a way to get them to the North American title, but I mean, just so over it.
The first thing that I'm really interested in, though, on NXT was McAfee comes in and cuts a promo from his plane. And as much as you want to hate McAfee, and I do want to hate McAfee, and Zach and I think Jason also, are well documented on this podcast that McAfee should be a guy that we hate. goddamn, the guy gets pro wrestling. And that was a great promo from the plane. Zach, did you see it?
Yeah, I did. And, he continues to impress and entertain. So, yeah, he's the dude that I love to hate, or I hate to love, rather.
Yeah. It's a killer promo. It's a killer promo from the plane.
It's from the plane.
And also, the hashtag Pat was right. Pretty good, man.
I was like, okay, let's see if it actually was somebody was trending this, because I know people were. I hit PAT, and all of a sudden it was like the fourth down. I'm like, damn, people were going with that. So, I mean, it reinforces the fact that Pat McAfee was one of those guys that made a difference. I'm not going to sit up here and say that he's going to move the needle or if he comes back, but you have something there. Now,
I think he moves the needle for NXT.
For NXT, for sure. For sure. Like Two Beer said, you don't want to like him, but goddamn, he gets it. And he does it so well. He's so – if you can find a way to get him to teach this to others, just to, how to generate
That's
heat.
natural, brother. That's natural. He just gets it.
He gets it, but I mean, it was one of those things where as soon as he came on screen, I had to start laughing because I was like, damn, he's right.
All right. Speaking of Pat is right, hashtag BFR Bill was right, because I said, both you guys fought back against me, but I said that putting the North American title on Leon Ruff would make him, it would elevate him. And when he goes over Swerve like that, they still sell it as an upset. But Leon Ruff goes over Swerve. Swerve decides to get mad and attack him post-match and say, why wasn't I given the North American title shot? Jason or Zach, whoever wants to go. Do you guys want to go back on that I was wrong about Leon Ruff?
No, I'm not going to. No, I refuse.
Okay, Zach, what do you think?
Nope.
Oh, okay. All right, guys. All right.
I'll just say this. I get it. It was the way that the match ended. It protects, and I'll use that in quotation, Swerve. But I mean, when I stopped to think, I was thinking about it when I was watching. I'm like, okay, so we've had him Swerve lose to Leon Ruff. You had him lose to Bronson Reed, guys that are kind of on the opposite ends, but he's lost to both guys. So, I mean, go ahead.
Here's what I always say about losing streaks, is that losing streaks are bad unless they go into the storyline. Like, you can tell a story with a guy that just loses and loses and loses. It doesn't happen very often. I wish
Dean Ambrose at the end.
Yes, I wish WWE did it more. They kind of did it with Kurt Hawkins. They really could have sold a bunch of shit with Kurt Hawkins with that.
The losing streak, it could have went to 1,000.
But they chose not to.
1,000.
I do like that Swerve, Isaiah Scott, got pissed off. He started laughing off the loss.
Yeah, because he's like,
Ruff,
this motherfucker.
And then he got pissed off and beat the shit out of him after the match. And when you take a losing streak and put it into a storyline, I'm totally cool with that.
I guess I'm not if this was going the opposite way where Leon Ruff was going up versus feeling like he's kind of coming back down, I might look at this a little differently. It just feels like this is a part of keeping Leon Ruff somewhat relevant.
What would be the opposite of what Leon Ruff's doing now? Would he have the belt? Would he be fighting Karrion Kross?
No.
Like, what's your ceiling for Leon Ruff?
He's the North American champion, but he shouldn't have been the North American champion after like 2 weeks of being on NXT.
Jesus Christ. You'd get mad at jerking off. Zach, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, unfortunately, that title run really did much for him long term. Like, yeah, short term, for sure, we've seen him on TV. But, I also don't think that beating Swerve Scott is doing anything for him either. I think both those guys, especially Swerve, have much higher potential than where they're at. I mean, Leon Ruff was kind of thrust into it, and it was controversial, but I just don't I don't see him being a guy that they are going to be high on for a long time, where I see Swerve having that potential, but they're beating him. It's just kind of weird. I don't know. We'll see. You know, maybe I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, like Bill. Like, you know, maybe they'll do something with this losing streak. But it seems like ever since, like, Daniel Bryan years ago, they beat him, and he
Did
became
you say
a star.
that I
That's like
have
the
a
only-
losing streak, and maybe Bill will do something with his losing streak? Is that what you said?
No, I was not implying that at all.
That's what
I
it
think
felt
that was
like.
your own neuroses, like filtering.
Why would you talk to me like that, though, Zach?
See,
like, why would you talk to
But
me
I
like
didn't.
that, Zach? It felt
But
like
I
you did.
didn't.
It felt like you did.
See, this is the difference between you and
It
I.
doesn't matter what you said, Zach. It matters how I feel.
I didn't realize we were married.
Amongst other things.
We're related, motherfucker. We had Bivens and Russ did a backstage thing. I want to get to the trophy presentation, which went to MSK, who we've mentioned on this show are incredible.
Flowers given out. And
I'm so high on them. You know what I'd like to see is MSK versus War Machine. I would love to see that
Yeah,
match.
if you want to bring War Machine back to fucking
I want to bring
NXT,
War.
I'm
Yes,
all for it.
I want to bring War Machine wherever they can go because I love War Machine. I love MSK. I would love to see that match.
Okay, well, just kind of a quick sidebar.
Just
for 30
throwing it out
seconds.
there.
No, quick, because
I know what your 30 seconds look like.
2 minutes. They've gotten Tyra Valkyrie. They've signed other independent talents to come in, and there's a possibility, rumor has it, there's an NXT Evolve show coming out. Now, if this is a scenario where, like, guys like Aleister Black, Andrade, guys that have been on the milk carton for a period of time that are going to come back and be a part of this show, then I'm all for it. I get what you're saying. But yes, I agree. There are people that have been gone for way too long, that are way too talented to be just pushed aside.
I mean, complete studs.
I'm willing to give them this chance because I think I'm still fuzzy off of TakeOver, but now we're going to have to start doing something with all this other talent because the talent is starting to build up.
Zach, what did you think about the trophy presentation with MSK and Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai, where Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler came out?
I thought the NXT talent looked so much better than the main roster talent. Like, talking is not Nia or Shayna's strong point, and that's all they were there to do.
Shayna's
And
not bad. Shayna's not bad.
No, but it's not their strong point.
Nia is
they're not
terrible.
Terrible.
Nia, I think Nia is like a counterpuncher. She can't necessarily.
That's a really nice way to put it.
She can't.
It's a really nice way to put it.
What is it? Not instigate, but
Talk?
initiate.
She can't talk.
She can't, but she can put in her little 2 cents in, you can get me 2 and I can put 1 in. And that's basically it. That's the way that I could see Nia Jax.
Zach, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Yeah, Wesley again came off like a big star without doing any flashy moves. Like, showed a ton of charisma, and like Dakota and Raquel came off looking like badasses. Like Dakota, if you remember, was scared of Shayna Baszler for a long time, and then she came off like, totally like nailed her with that Rhea line, and she's like, yeah, she ran off after Rhea kicked her ass, and just totally like stood up to her. And Raquel, had the great line about Nia's hole, like you said, she'll never live down. So the NXT guys and gals came off like stars, and so I like that aspect of it, even if I'm not high on Shayna Nia. We had some main roster talent, which unfortunately probably won't do anything for their ratings or anything because of who it was. But
What do you think, Jason?
Not a huge fan of, I guess. No, I take that back. I like the fact that Nia and Shayna came out because I didn't necessarily see that coming. MSK and Beth in the the corner eating popcorn or whatever was kind of like the New Day gift or whatever, where, everybody's, sitting back and watching it unfold. I've been calling for Raquel and Dakota Kai to be the tag team champions for a while, but I think Two Beer kind of said it beforehand. Raquel Gonzalez has pinned Io Shirai, so I don't want to lose fact of that. Okay, I see where we're going. For me personally, I think to get her and Dakota Kai over is the bigger picture. She's not going to beat Io Shirai. If you want to sweep that underneath the rug, so be it.
Would you rather than Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler come out? Would you rather have the SmackDown Tag Team Champions come out? Do you know who they are?
It's one and the same.
Huh?
It's one and the same. Are you talking about
That's
the
why
men?
they came out, because they're champions.
The men's.
Yeah.
Oh,
come out
men's.
against MSK.
Is that Rude?
Ooh,
Who's
Dolph and Robert Roode. That would be a little interesting. I would mind seeing that.
Okay, who's the Raw championship?
It's the Hurt Business.
Okay. All right.
Back the fuck up, man. Back the fuck up. Oh, really?
It was just a quick quiz.
Wait.
It was just a quick quiz.
I know the guy that can't tell. Oh, really? You did me like that?
Black people apart?
No, I know you can tell black people apart.
I just don't watch Raw, so I didn't know that they had lost the title. Like, I just thought they still had them. I know.
Who did Zach say?
I thought it was the Street Profits. I just thought they still had the title.
They're on SmackDown, dude.
Oh, see, I don't watch either show.
You're a nerd.
Thank you.
All right.
I watch SmackDown more often than Raw, but I was literally snowed in a hotel with nothing else to do, and I turned on Raw and was immediately embarrassed.
Don't justify.
And I couldn't even continue. And then I heard they had a great gauntlet match in the third hour, and I never got to watch because there was so much bad stuff in the first hour that I changed the channel.
Dude, I can't argue with that. Nobody's ever going to argue with you about that. It's terrible. I have nothing else to do on Monday nights. My wife is gone. I fall asleep. I take a ZQL around 8 o'clock, and I fall asleep at 8:45.
Dude, what are you? Never mind.
I'm tired after the weekend, man. I work fucking 20 hours on Friday. Don't.
Monday is either or. You have NBA or.
Oh, no. I got it all figured out, dude. All figured out.
Okay.
I got my channels all figured out.
Mister, I'm sleep by 8:45 over here.
It goes wrestling NBA, wrestling NBA, wrestling NBA. My two favorite things in the world. Okay, we're gonna skip past the Zoe Stark. Kushida Rust had a good match. Kushida went over. Zoe Stark made her NXT debut. Karrion Kross had a vignette with what's her name?
Scarlett.
God damn, she is hot. And then we had Kings of NXT versus Undisputed Era and Finn Balor. Adam Cole comes out and basically tell us, Jason.
Well, see, I didn't necessarily see it when it happened, but let's go like this. The match itself was good. It teased the fact that, especially going into the match, that Kyle O'Reilly couldn't trust anybody, whether you were on his side, on the opposite side, whatever the case may be. During the match, I kind of found it funny that Kyle O'Reilly and Finn Balor were only tagging each other to begin with. So I kind of giggled, and that's why I was saying that I wasn't sure where Roddy is going to fall when it's all said and done. Ultimately, fast forward where Pete Dunne gets his at least a little mini receipt back on Finn Balor and gets the pin back on the champion. But in the meantime, you do have Adam Cole returning, not necessarily answering the question of why, but to attack not only Kyle O'Reilly on the outside, but then he gets Finn Balor on the inside with the Kings of NXT causing the same chaos. So in this scenario, the match was good, but then on top of it, when the Kings of NXT came out first, to me that was like, okay, this is what I expected to happen. And a part of me didn't even think that Adam Cole was going to come out, which would have been perfect for me. Just don't even come out, just have it extend into next week. But I'm not saying that they did this wrong either. You had Kings of NXT come out, and then Adam Cole kind of puts his own little, I guess, imprint on the match with, I would call it a brain buster on the steps, where I guess this is where I missed everybody else going ape shit over the fact that Kyle O'Reilly was hurt, not hurt. We worked, some other people didn't get worked. I don't even know what happened. Like I said, I came on this second.
He posted an update. It was a total work.
Okay. So I'll just say it like this. When I saw it, I was like, oh shit. You know, it looked like a nice, brutal spot, but then I saw like Kyle O'Reilly with face down and it didn't look good, and then, you know, you have the referee coming over with the X sign. Sometimes the X sign means everything in the world, and sometimes it doesn't. So I wasn't too particularly sure what that meant. So even though it was, you know, X usually means bad, it wasn't like I was too worried at that point. But like I said, for me, I caught everything secondhand. So, I mean, if I would have saw it when it actually happened, I probably would have gotten worked into. I'm not going to sit there and say I don't get worked. You know, I'm human like everybody else. But I'll give credit where credit is due. Adam Cole came in and had his two spots where he made his impact, for lack of a better term. I think Pete Dunne getting the title, well, not the title win, but the pin here reinserts him at least back into a probable triple threat. I guess if you want to do something, it's either you it's either triple threat, or you do a triple threat for a contender, and then the winner gets Finn Balor. I don't know. There's plenty of ways to go with this if you want to go with that.
That's going to do it for our 3 counts.
1, 2, 3.
This is banned from ringside.
All right, guys. Time to get into our Elimination Chamber predictions. This is Zach's favorite pay-per-view of the year, obviously. Okay, so
Yeah, right.
There's a couple one. This is
Was that a jerking off joke?
See, okay.
Do you call your dick the Elimination Chamber? Or your balls, I guess. Okay. So we have Asuka versus Lacey. Lacey is now pregnant.
Do we? Is this TBA?
I can't remember.
I think it's got to be. They can't be doing it.
No, Lacey is okay. All bullshit aside, first things first. Congratulations, Lacey Evans. You know, she's legitimately pregnant.
Sure, of course.
So let's put that on the table. Congratulations. But
yes.
But God damn it. Come on. Why are we making Ric Flair the father? Please tell me this is just a joke where I was a little too high on Monday and this is going to end next Monday night. There is no reason in the world to have Ric Flair as the father. You didn't do Becky Lynch like this. You just kept it clean. She's pregnant. You can still do the same thing and have Lacey Evans be pregnant and troll fucking Charlotte all the way through until it's time for her to go away. The fact that you're going to sit here and have Ric Flair be the fucking father, this is probably going to be my last WWE rant for a long, long time, because especially with this new...
Oh, sure.
No. I was
right.
thinking
Yeah,
about this.
that
No,
sounds
I was thinking about this the other day.
Sure.
I'm sick of the fact that I always go off on WWE because realistically, slowly but surely, they're going away from me. They're not for me. Okay? As I'm the dinosaur in this room, I want to watch shit that I like to watch. I don't want to watch goofy ass shit where Lacey Evans is going to besmirch, and yeah, I'm going to use the word besmirch, the legacy of Ric Flair because WWE thinks that is fucking funny. It's not fucking funny. Ric Flair shouldn't even be down there to begin with. It's a fucking pandemic, motherfuckers. You're putting the greatest wrestler arguably in history in fucking peril because you think it's a fucking joke, because you think it's fucking funny. Where the fuck is Rhea Ripley at? She's been gone since the fact that she's thrown over fucking Alexa Bliss at the goddamn Royal Rumble, and then you don't capitalize on this. What? This is why I hate WWE sometimes. Storylines drop in their fucking laps, and they just can't get it done. It's not like Alexa Bliss is all of a sudden going to detour Randy Orton from the fucking WWE title. If you want to give him the 16, to give him the 16. The fact of the matter is that you had Rhea Ripley on the fucking big stage again. So not knowing you dropped the ball once, now you're dropping it a second fucking time. She hasn't been anywhere seen since the Royal fucking Rumble. And now you got Asuka running around here with one of the worst fucking title reigns since I don't know when. Can you name the motherfuckers that Asuka's defended the title since? She's gotten the fucking title from Becky Lynch. I can't. I can maybe name one or two, but outside of that, that's really about it. Not only have you fucked up Asuka, you're fucking up Rhea Ripley. Charlotte is trying to be a fucking face. Get the fuck out of here. The only thing that's worse than the WWE women's roster is the AEW women's roster, and I'll put that on anything.
He's heating up.
That's the first Jason Cornelius Bell rant we've had in a while. So I'm going to say that you're taking Lacey?
I'm taking TBA. No, actually, take that back. I'm taking Asuka. Even if it's TBA, Rhea Ripley should be TBA. Let's go like that, number one. Even if it's Rhea Ripley, I'm still taking Asuka.
I think you've had your time. Okay, I'm going to start the music back up. Jesus Christ.
Sorry, that's going to be it. Like I said, last WWE ran for a hot minute.
Zach, who you take?
I mean, like, there's no match, like, that we know of. So, I mean, I guess I'll go with Asuka just because she doesn't have an opponent currently.
Yeah, I'll go with Asuka, too. Who gives a shit? I can't believe it took you that long.
Dude, I'm sorry. That has been pissing me off for a hot minute.
Obviously. Well, okay.
Don't make me kick you. I see you are in kicking range.
All right, we got a triple threat match between Bobby Lashley, Keith Lee, and Matt Riddle for the USA Championship. I'll go first here, guys. I'm going to go Lashley to retain number one. I'll go Riddle number two, just because they make him getting his ass kicked so often that Vince might see that as some kind of storyline. I'll go Keith Lee third. Zach, you're up.
So the only reason I'm doing this is because it's a triple threat. So I'm actually going to pick Keith Lee. Yes, I'm actually going to pick Keith Lee, but he's not going to pin Lashley. So I think the only reason this is a triple threat is because they want to move the title off Lashley, but they don't want to beat him because Lashley's like the most protected dude outside of Drew and Roman that there is. Like, they're like protecting him like
you son of a bitch.
You know,
that's
like
good
a big
booking.
WrestleMania match or something.
Let Zach book the territory.
Yeah, he's
that's
still
good
my
booking. Good booking.
No, he's still my Thunder. Go ahead.
But
finish.
I will pick Lashley. I will pick Lashley as number two, just because I mean he is so protected, and then I'll go Riddle number three, just because Vince doesn't like stoners.
No wonder he hates my black ass.
Apparently, Vince loves Riddle. Go ahead.
But I mean,
Vince doesn't hate you because you're a stoner.
he hates me because I'm black.
He hates you because you're black.
Yeah, good point. No, I agree with that.
Short.
Dude, I'm 5'9". I'm like the average of American. I mean, what the fuck?
Oh man, you're taller than me.
Okay.
Keith Twee.
You ain't shit. No, I agree with you totally on this with Two Beer. If I thought that Lashley would be able to go up to the main event, because
You thought I just got high? Man,
Yeah,
I thought that was the funniest joke I've ever told.
The fact that if you want to put Lashley up to the top card, there's not too many other places he can go. You already kind of seen him with Drew McIntyre. Brock is like the dream match. I don't see that happening. But like you said, this is the way to have Lashley take the title off of. It's the same with Two Beer, exactly the same way. Keith Lee 1, Lashley 2, Riddle 3. Riddle is comedic at this point. Comedic guys don't win the IC title, the US title. They win the 24/7 title.
I want to say for the record that I think that it's going to be Lashley versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, because there's no way they're leaving Lesnar out of WrestleMania, right? Right? No? Okay.
There's 25,000.
I feel like it's up to Lesnar. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Vince will pay him whatever it takes. It's up to whether Lesnar.
Yeah,
wants to do
it would be
not.
different if Lesnar was under contract. Then you're showing up.
Okay, I'll ask you, you want A or B?
Okay.
No, A or B?
A.
Okay, we'll go Raw first. So we have McIntyre versus AJ Styles versus Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton versus Sheamus versus Kofi Kingston, which is basically the Elimination Chamber that you could have had 11 years ago, sub
Edge.
AJ. I mean, because AJ wouldn't have been there.
Right.
But, okay. So go least to most likely to win the Elimination Chamber men's Raw.
I'm up?
Yeah, you're up.
Okay.
You're up, bro. Who's
Number
the
number
least
6
likely
is,
to win?
is Jeff Hardy. I'm sorry. You can call me what you want. I see no reason for him to be in this. I've said this multiple times. We could have got him out of there and put somebody else in. Somebody else could have took a bump. 5, I'm going to go Kofi Kingston. No disrespect. I kind of feel this is just wrong time, wrong place for Kofi. You know, they teased Kofi Mania 2. The gauntlet match on Monday night was basically the whole reason to watch. Great 30 minutes, so really great matches, individual matches, AJ, Kofi, so on and so forth. Speaking of AJ, I'll go with AJ as 4. AJ's at the point where it's starting to be getting him outside of WWE. He's got Twitch going on. There's other things that AJ can be doing. Kind of been there, done that. I'm going to go with Orton with 3. There is a legitimate reason for him to be champion at this point, because you can make Fiend versus Orton if you want to as a mid-card or main event for WrestleMania. Well, obviously, because it's 2 nights. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a Fiend versus Orton individual match. 2, I'm going to go with Sheamus. If he wouldn't, this is the only reason I've had a problem with the gauntlet match, as good as it was on Monday night. WWE kind of shows its hand with matches like this. Sheamus winning this match was kind of WWE showing its hand. I'm not sure who Drew is going to face, but I'm going to take Drew as number 1. I'm going to have him retain. This will be another notch on his belt, so to speak. I just really wish they'd have just gave Sheamus and Drew their own match. The only reason I'm picking Drew or Sheamus as number 2 is if he wins, then you can splinter them off into their own WrestleMania match. It's the rematch. You can go with that. Orton is probably the wild card of
Zach,
this whole
who
thing.
you got?
I think most likely is Drew, just because he's Drew. Number 2 is Sheamus, because I can see them beating him, and with Sheamus, because they actually have some history there and, storyline going, and then Sheamus, then Drew can get his big WrestleMania win in front of fans, so they're going to put like 25,000 people in this building, so kind of like the Super Bowl, so I can see that. And then running it down, let's go Randy Orton, AJ, Kofi, and then Jeff Hardy, because his gimmick might as well be a bongo drum, because it is beat him constantly.
Hard to argue. Zach, that's a very... Wow, that's exactly what Jason...
I was getting ready to say,
Jason picked.
if you're going to give him some flowers, you better make it 2 times.
No, I thought that's actually a shitty pick.
Okay, there you
mine
go.
Was better. Okay, so coming up for the SmackDown, we have Jey Uso versus Kevin Owens versus Baron Corbin versus Sami Zayn versus Cesaro versus Daniel Bryan. Which?
Did you write down your Raw ones? You wrote them down?
Yeah, I wrote them down.
You didn't say them.
No. Well, I went McIntyre, Sheamus, AJ, Kofi, RKO, and Jeff Hardy.
Okay, so you acting like we were so different. We ain't that.
I'm a jokester, dude. That's all I do is joke around. We're joking around.
Okay, so number one,
it's a fucking wrestling
so number
podcast.
We're
not playing for money. I get chopped every time.
Number one, you need to at least say what your picks are for the record.
My bad.
For public record. For number two.
My bad. I got high. You.
So what? I'm supposed to tackle you?
You walked upstairs and I grabbed your thing and I smoked it.
This is my fault all of a sudden.
All right, so
because you don't know how to act.
McIntyre first, Sheamus second, AJ third, Kofi Kingston fourth, RKO the fifth, Jeff Hardy sixth.
I'm 8 kids of RKO. Man. Randy's had what? 5 kids?
I'll go first here. And I will say that Jey Uso, Kevin Owens, Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Daniel Bryan. If you take out Corbin, who I think is very good, you're talking about a indie dream match here. You really are. That being said, because Roman Reigns isn't in this, I'm going to take
winner gets Roman Reigns.
Winner gets Roman Reigns.
More Chris Hero.
In the same night.
In the same night. What'd you say, Two-Beer?
I said needs more Chris Hero. Replace Jey Uso with Chris Hero, and we got it.
See,
that's pretty.
Well, or Corbin.
Okay, no, okay. You're talking about the indie dream match. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Because the winner gets Roman Reigns that night. Fuck. I'm going Jey Uso first. I'm going Daniel Bryan second. I'll go KO third. I'll go Sami Zayn last. I'll go Corbin second to last. And my last one is what? Cesaro. Who you got, Jason? That was tough.
Yeah, so see, why you over fucking with me?
That's actually tough.
Right.
I'm fucking with you because you're fuckable with.
I'll go Sami Zayn as the least likely. Obviously, the conspiracy theory continues. Now it's starting to get a little difficult. Let's go 5. Make sure I'm seeing this right. Thank you very much.
Hard. It's hard without having it in front of you.
Oh, fuck. Man. Okay, I'll switch it up. I'm gonna go Jey Uso at 5. It makes sense, but I think somehow it's not necessarily Roman versus Jey. I think who they put him against is going to be the threat. We'll get to there in a second. Corbin at 4 because you got to put him somewhere.
He ain't winning.
No, he's not winning.
He should probably be last.
Whatever. I mean, shit. I'll say weird shit happens. Miz is lurking around here somewhere.
Depends on if there's any dog food in the building.
But he's the top heel.
That's why they pay him the big bucks. Zach's funny.
Let's go KO next. I think that's a legitimate spot where KO and Roman can go one more time. I'm going to go Daniel Bryan next. I'm going to go Cesaro as the guy. I know it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
That's a terrible pick.
It's not going to happen.
That's a terrible pick.
It is a terrible pick.
What's a worse pick? You picking Cesaro there or Zach picking Lars Sullivan at the Royal Rumble?
Oh, Zach picking Lars Sullivan at the Royal Rumble.
I disagree. They're equal.
No. Here's whoever wins this match is not beating Roman Reigns.
Okay.
So if you want to throw a bone to anybody at this point,
sure.
You don't want to give it
Okay. Stop yelling at me.
No, I'm just saying this is the time you can throw the Cesaro Marks a bone. Here you go, Marks. Cesaro's had his title match. He lost to Roman Reigns. You can still have Daniel Bryan in the mix. You can do KO again if you want to.
Okay.
And then Miz hangs over the fucking table.
All right. Zach, you're up.
I'm going to go with my number one again. So I'll start at the top. And I'm picking Cesaro. I already had this pick, like, before Jason said it. And they've been seemingly pushing Cesaro. And he's totally the kind of guy that you lean on to give you 2 great matches in a night. So looking at that, I'm going to go Cesaro. He's also not going to win, which is perfectly Cesaro.
Okay,
and he's also kind of had a face turn. So he's also has a face turn with like Nakamura face turn, and so we're going there. Number 2, going Kevin Owens, just because we seem to be in that holding pattern. Number 3, Daniel Bryan, another face that can put Roman over. And then we just got the heels. So I'll go Jey Uso, and then I'll go Sami Zayn, and then I'll go Corbin.
Okay, guys. Those were terrible picks.
Dude, you are out. Oh, my God. Dude. Never mind. When we are right.
You guys both pick Cesaro
because
number
it doesn't
1.
matter. It doesn't matter who faces Roman Reigns. It's Edge versus Roman Reigns. It doesn't matter who wins this Elimination Chamber match.
Hey, there's no
Kevin
reason to yell at me.
Owens.
There's no
I
reason
know.
to yell at me
I
like
know
that. Why
Kevin
are you
Owens
screaming
is
at
your
me like
boy.
that? Why are you screaming at me?
Because these are horrible picks. I know KO's your boy.
Is that your Bill impression?
Kind of, sort of.
Do it again.
I know these are horrible picks. I know KO is your boy, but damn, let's put KO aside for a little bit. We've been there and done that. Okay, Daniel Bryan probably makes the most sense because we haven't done it. Yeah. Cesaro is going to be that guy because, like Tubir said, you can have him go out here twice. You know he can run the fucking table, and ultimately he can lose, and nothing else changes.
I can't wait to watch that pay-per-view.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Hold on a second. I can't wait to watch that pay-per-view.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Is that your DJ voice? What the fuck?
I can't wait to watch that pay-per-view.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Hey, everybody, this is Wolfman Jack. This is Wolfman Jack. And,
can't give this motherfucker kind of fucking power.
Hey, Daddy-O, we're at 95.5. Birthdays this week. We have Corey Graves is 37. Nakamura is 41. Carlito, older than me, he's 42. Brodus Clay.
Looking real Jack, baby.
Okay, thank you. I'm like, he's older than me.
Brodus Clay.
Oh, younger than me.
How old do you think Brodus Clay is?
Just saw him on Fox the other day. I hope he's younger than me, too. I'm going to go 43.
Zach?
45.
He's 48.
Yes! Yes!
Is he older than you?
Yes.
Gail Kim is 44. Jack Gallagher, he got released, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack Gallagher is 29. Sean Spears, a.k.a. Ty Dillinger, is 30. And Big John Studd,
R.I.P.
R.I.P. would have been...
Where's Sean Spears at?
70.
Yes, it's
in a condo with Peyton Royce, doing better than we are.
God bless that man.
Horny Thursdays.
What? I just asked where Sean Spears was.
I'm talking about him, talking about banging Peyton Royce.
Well, I mean, I don't blame him on that one either.
I'm going to horny jail.
Hey, everybody, there's tons of podcasts to listen to, so we appreciate you guys listening to our podcast. For Vice,
check.
For F&B Eatery,
check.
For Bill's Beards, for
check.
Lucha Chris,
check.
For Murray the Murray Man Murray,
check.
For Two Beers Zach Bowman,
check.
for Jason Cornelius Bell.
Konnichiwa, bitches.
I am Bill Veggie. Everybody, Black Lives Matter.
Check.
Support your local
check.
weed dealers. Check. And boo the heat.
Ooh, bitch.